On Mix 92.3.
All right, a very good Sunday morning. Welcome to another great edition of the Focus Forum. Tracy McCaskill here with Miss Ariel Collins.
Good morning, good morning.
And a very good morning. So, you're going to love this show.
Yes, yes.
Let me see, Ariel. It's just a little over a week from today. It will be, Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Next Saturday, February 14th is Valentine's Day.
Yes, it is.
And we're going to devote this show largely to talking about self-love. Self-love, self-love.
Self-love.
Love is that universal language. We should be using it all day, every day, but
Yes.
particularly on Valentine's Day because, and I say this not to be facetious, I say this with all honesty, I encounter too many people who put this unnecessary pressure on themselves to be part of, couple beyond couple on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
If you are in love with a mate, your soulmate made for you, you all are just doing that thing so big and you're looking forward to a wonderful day, kudos to you.
Kudos.
That's not the case for everyone.
Nope.
Some folks are in transition. They might have just come out of a relationship. Some people, have come out of a marriage. There have been some big changes. So Valentine's Day might not be, at the top of their list.
Right.
But we want it to be because, again, love is the universal language you should be using every day. Please, if you have not done anything else the other 364 days, don't wait to Valentine's Day to all of a sudden become Romeo or Juliet.
Please don't.
Stop it.
Don't.
I'm serious.
It's not even going to do that.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. So let's not wait for this one day to show love. Let's do it every day, okay?
Yes, that's the first thing.
That's the first thing and the foremost thing,
Yes.
okay? So we're welcoming back to the program, and we love her, Dr. Rose Moten Lang. She is an owner and psychologist at Transcendent Life Counseling. You can learn more about Dr. Rose at drrosemoten, MOTEN.com. She's a psychologist, an author, speaker, and life transformation coach. Dr. Rose has 16 years of private practice experience in addition to her own challenging personal experiences. Life-changing adversity and subsequent rebirth led her to create Bloom, a 7-step blueprint that promotes self-discovery, personal transformation, and unbridled success. We are so glad to welcome back to the program Dr. Rose. Welcome back, lady.
Thank you. That was a mouthful.
But it was all good. It's all good. Yes.
I'm happy to be back.
We're so glad to have you back. Our listeners are just loving some Dr. Rose. Let's talk about this, Dr. Rose, because what is it about Valentine's Day that just sends folks into a tailspin? I don't, it's over a week away, but folks have already decided that's the worst day of my life. I wish it wasn't even Valentine's Day.
I'm just sit in the house. I ain't even gonna answer my phone
Come on. What do you have to say to those people, who are really just feeling like it's going to be a challenging day ahead?
First of all, I want to just remind them this is a 24-hour period.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Valentine's Day is one day.
Right.
And I think the biggest problem is we put too much expectation on that day.
Yeah.
Right.
We put too much expectation. I know one of the things we're going to be talking about is shifting the focus from the materialism and all the romance focus into the focus, as you said just a few moments ago, onto self-love.
Yeah, that's so important. This is a quick funny story. I can remember a person that I knew, and I'm serious, a friend of mine, love her to death, telling me, Tracy, I'm going out on a date with this brother. I said, okay, that's a great thing. And you know what? We're going to go on our first date on Valentine's Day.
Ooh.
No. Dr. Rose, when you just said expectation and pressure, I thought, what pressure to put on a first date to go on a date on your first date ever on Valentine's Day.
That's not good.
And it's Sunday morning, so I got to tell the truth. I told her, I said, girl, X that plan.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's just not a good plan. So,
No.
and that just came to mind when you talked about pressure. And I think there is that. She said, well, no, I'll get to see his true colors. It's Valentine's Day. And I'm like, okay, no. Already, your expectation level of person you don't even know is too high.
Yeah, you're putting a lot on him.
Right.
And I'm going to assume, did she X the plan?
Yeah, she did. But you know what? Let me say this. She X'd it at the very last minute.
Oh, wow.
Seriously. Because I think she started to think about, because she acknowledged that I wasn't the only one who had said that to her, that, wow, a first date on Valentine's Day might not be the best idea.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. No.
Yeah. So we're going to talk with Dr. Rose. She has 5 ways to take the Boo-Hoo and Bah-Humbug out of Valentine's Day. If you're flying solo, that's a good thing. That's fine. So, Dr. Rose, let's talk about your first point here. Making the shift from glorifying this romance, all these tangibles, to celebrating love. Just Love. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, celebrating love. Because, Valentine's Day is all about that emphasis, that heavy emphasis on romance. And like you said, I'm going to see, your friend said she wanted to see what this guy was made of.
Yeah.
Because all the expectations when it comes to Valentine's Day is one is going to pull out all stops. You're going to come home and you're going to have rose petals lining the floor up the stairway to the bedroom. He's going to be in a tuxedo with a dozen of roses. I mean, it's just like something out of Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So my whole focus when I talk to women who are, or men who are single or flying solo for Valentine's, is celebrate love. Forget about the romance aspect of it. Celebrate your capacity to love, your ability to recognize and show gratefulness for all the people in your life that love you.
Right.
Because that's something to appreciate. And it doesn't have to be that romantic love. It can be the friends you have in your life that that love you. It can be family members. It can even be your children.
Absolutely. Yes. It's so funny. There were a few years where I think I said, okay, my mother's the only person getting a Valentine's Day gift. That's it. Seriously.
But isn't that great that you were able to even celebrate the love?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
Even by you saying that, it reminds me, as a little girl, one thing my dad always did, he would always bring home Valentine gifts for his children. It was 3 girls and a boy.
Right.
And, he would come home with, flowers for mom, the typical flowers, but he always also celebrated the love that he had for his daughters and his son by bringing us a little, even if it was a little box of candy or candy or what have you. But it was all about love and celebrating just the capacity that you love, not necessarily for an intimate partner, if that happens not to be the case for you now, but to celebrate the love that's all around you.
Wow, that is so wonderful. If you're just joining us here on the Focus Forum, you're a little bit late, but you have time because we are welcoming back to the Focus Forum Dr. Rose Moten Lang. She's a psychologist, an author, a speaker, and life transformation coach. And we're talking about Valentine's Day. As we started off the show saying, yes, it's coming up this Saturday, February 14th. We do this show each year because we know that a lot of folks really, struggle with the concept of not having a quote-unquote boo for Valentine's Day. Be your own boo. Okay, how about that? Be your own boo. And that's what we're talking about. Just, above it all is self-love. Self-love. We hear a lot of times, Dr. Rose, and wow, you know what? When that person arrives, when my soulmate gets here, I'll be happy. That's not how that should be done anyway. You should be happy before they even arrive.
You should be happy.
And again, we're back to that pressure. It's like, wait a minute, this person comes with your happiness, and again, God forbid, what if they leave with your happiness?
Exactly.
So, these are unrealistic expectations, and that's why I think it's so important when we have these shows with you, Dr. Rose, that we talk about it. We're very candid about these elements. A lot of folks don't like to talk about it. It's like, well, no, that's easy for you to say because you have XYZ. First of all, when people say that to me, I'm like, you don't even know my story.
Don't know what I have, okay?
So stop saying that.
Single lady.
Making an assumption. But I think I'm grown enough and clear enough to know that ain't nobody arriving with my happiness. I really had to be bringing that to the door. Yes. So again,
we talked about that in the last show. With you ladies, where we talked about that whole wintality. I'm gonna be happy when.
Yes,
Dr. Rose.
The wintality. Yes.
It goes right back into that stuff. Valentine's Day. And there's so much pressure people put on themselves. I would only be happy on Valentine's if I had that person in my life.
Right.
And, as you said, Tracy, it's not about when. It's about celebrating it now.
Yeah.
Just attaching yourself to the emotions and the feelings that you want to feel at this moment.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, Dr. Rose, the next point is be your own Valentine. And I love that one because I love to treat myself,
Yes.
okay? I love to wine and dine myself. So let's talk about that because some people might not know how to be their own
That's
Valentine.
true. That's true.
I was, and it's all about people's perceptions on it, but I remember years ago when I broached a question to a group of women. I was doing a workshop. How many of them had ever taken themselves out to dinner? And you know, the overwhelming majority had not ever did that. They said they would never consider doing that.
Wow.
They said it just would make them feel too uncomfortable to sit in a restaurant and be alone.
Wow.
But you know, what happens is that we are oftentimes so concerned with reaching the goal of being in a relationship that we neglect the most important relationship we can have, and that's the relationship we can have with ourselves.
Yes.
Wow, so true, Dr. Rose, so true. You know what it is, and I'm gonna do another Tracey confession. The first time I went out by myself, I went out to lunch alone, and I have to say, while I felt very comfortable, I noticed folks, and even the waitress, expecting another party to show up with me. Seriously. I think she actually like, are you still waiting for your lunch date or your lunch? I said, no. And she asked that 2 times. And I think by the time she realized that, no, I'm dining alone, I think this woman walked away with a little pity. She was like, oh, that poor girl. She's sitting there alone. Yeah, seriously. And I think I think that's the perception, Dr. Rose, that, a person sitting eating alone, they're to be pitied, when, again, why are you even in that person's business?
You don't know if they need that alone time.
Exactly. And I think being so comfortable with self, it's necessary. I don't think we're going to really attract what we want if we're not comfortable with ourselves, Dr. Rose.
Oh, my God, that is so true. That is so true. Because, and even getting back to the dinner analogy, because people will look at you and say, that poor woman.
That is so
right.
You know, and you're sitting there having the time of your life.
Right.
In your space. But what that really reflects is their perception.
Yeah.
It reflects their perception. So you have to become, so even about being your own Valentine, one of the things that I would suggest women do is, or men, because we know we have male listeners as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But to even sit down and write yourself a love letter, okay?
All right.
Okay, then.
Perfect your commitment that you have to yourself.
Yeah.
That's that commitment. And Valentine's Day comes 6 weeks after New Year's Day, where we all made these resolutions,
yes.
and commitments and goals. So it's a perfect opportunity to revisit those and say, okay, in 6 weeks' time, have I abandoned these? Are there things that I need to do to get back on track to show yourself the unconditional love that you have? Outline what you ultimately desire in a mate.
Wow. Yes.
Outline that. And then here's the key, Tracey. After you outline all those things you honestly want in a mate, honestly evaluate if you yourself possess those things.
Yes. That is
key.
so key, Dr. Rose. And I have to say, that can be the most difficult part. It really can.
Yeah, it is.
Seriously, when you are really, and I'm speaking for Tracey, when you are really examining what you want in a mate, to be able to line it up and say, okay, am I bringing these elements to the table? That can be really difficult. Seriously, even in the most, what you might think superficial thing, like I'm saying, okay, that brother got to have a 6-pack, them muscles got to be cut, and I'm thinking, well, I don't have a 6-pack.
Okay, I ain't cut. I ain't been to the gym in 4 months.
I mean, seriously, that's just keeping it on a superficial level. But really, are you what you want to attract? That would be, I love that idea of outlining it. What is it, Dr. Rose? And Dr. Rose, hold on, because we're going to sidebar for a minute. I want to ask you a question. And I'm sure because of the extensive work you do, the workshops and consultations you conduct, what is it sometimes that people have a problem with writing things down? Sometimes you make their recommendations, but they're like, I ain't writing that down. Why is that sometimes?
People will say, well, that sounds silly. That sounds too juvenile. But the fact of the matter is you give so much power to your goals when you write them out.
Yeah.
Now it becomes something tangible that you can see and you're reminded of. And, we won't even get too technical as far as the physiological function. But
absolutely.
What it does is that it actually activates a portion of your brain to bring more awareness to whatever that is that you've written down. So when you come into contact with that, when you come into contact with whatever matches what it is that you have on that list, you're aware of it.
Wow. That is so true.
Walking past it, you know?
Yeah, that is so true. If you're just joining us here on the Focus Forum, we are welcoming you and Dr. Rose back to our program. Dr. Rose Moten Lang, she's the owner, psychologist at Transcendent Life Counseling. Learn more about Dr. Rose. And again, Ariel and I must have said Dr. Rose's website like 16 times the last time she was on, but undoubtedly people ask, how do I reach that Dr. Rose? Dr. Rose Moten, that's DrRoseMoten.com. Learn more about Dr. Rose. We are highlighting today her flying solo, asking you that question, are you doing that for the upcoming Valentine's Day, which is Saturday, February 14th. She has 5 ways to take the boo-hoo and the bah-humbug out of Valentine's Day. And we're on to the next point here, Ariel. Pamper yourself, Dr. Rose. What do you mean by that? Pamper yourself.
Treat yourself the way you desire a romantic partner to treat you.
Okay. Love that. Love that.
So, pull out all stops if that's what it is that you desire. So this goes back to even Tracey talking about the dinner analogy that we use. So during the periods of my single-dom,
right.
I remember, there would be times that I would take myself out to dinner, and I would tell people, I would say, I'm the best date I've ever had.
I know that's right.
I would treat myself to the finest restaurant. I mean, I would have a glass of wine or two with dinner.
Right.
If there was live music, I would sit and enjoy, and not at the bar. I would get myself a table. So like you said, the waitress may want to where are other people?
Right.
Now, see, Dr. Rose, I'm going to confess because I was going to say I've taken myself out to dinner and to lunch before, but I do sit at the bar.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
Okay. I do.
I hear you. Yeah, see, Ariel doesn't want to be on display sitting at that table alone.
And maybe that is it, but yeah.
Yeah.
At least I go out by myself.
Yes, that's the first step.
That's my first step.
Yeah.
So.
I want you to try that. I want you to go and get yourself a table.
A table.
And as my daughter jokingly says, a table with a cloth napkin.
Oh, okay, a cloth napkin. I know those tables.
Right.
Okay, I know those tables, Dr. Rose. Oh my goodness.
Right.
I love it. Yes.
Yes.
But you have to go out and you have to pamper yourself. And I guess I was feeling kind of ashamed.
Yeah. You might have been feeling a little self-conscious.
It's like, I don't want nobody to think I'm out here by myself, but I really didn't care.
But you know what, Dr. Rose, and let me just say this, and Ariel's my girl, she's like a baby sister, so I can say this to her. What makes me laugh when people say that is, but you are there alone. I mean, at the end of the day, what are you trying? I mean, that's the fact. You're there alone. Oh, somebody's going to know I'm here alone. You are.
I am, yeah.
So, okay, and let's move on to the next thing, please. Let's enjoy, because I can surmise that if you sat there at that bar so conscious of whether people, they think I'm alone, you probably didn't even enjoy that experience.
I was on my phone. I was Facebook.
Oh, girl, please.
Gobble your dinner down so quick.
Yeah.
Okay, I did. Okay, so I wasn't a good date for myself.
And you know what, Dr. Rose, isn't it so important? Seriously, because we talked about this when you were on the last time, Dr. Rose. Isn't it so important that if you don't enjoy your own company, nobody else is going to enjoy your company?
True.
So true. That is so true.
Yeah.
And I can understand and respect what Ariel's saying, and a lot of
Yeah.
and then experience that you feel just awkward.
Yeah.
But doing that, even going out and taking yourself out to dinner and sitting at the table, not the bar, it's a certain amount. It builds and it exudes confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, it did too.
Yes.
And I'll do it again.
Okay, at the table.
At the table with the white cloth.
Yes.
Okay, with the white cloth on it. Okay. Now, Dr. Rose, we're going to go to reconnect with a lost hobby. Now, that's something that you can do, right?
Okay.
Yes, that's something definitely. And, even that Valentine's Day, if you or friends or, if there are a few people that may be flying solo or even by yourself, find something that maybe you've been always wanted to do or something that you used to love to and embrace yourself in, but maybe you've gotten away from, and spend a day engaging in that. It could be, I know a lot of women who are getting back into sewing. So maybe you decide to work on a project that day. So
right.
A new dress or whatever, curtains for your bedroom.
Yeah.
Or maybe a cooking class. There are a lot of places around here.
Wow, yes.
A cooking class. Maybe go to the art museum. And the beauty about that, like if you reconnect with a lost hobby or embarking upon going to maybe a location to engage in, like I said, the cooking class, or maybe going for some type of exhibit at the art museum, or you get a chance to meet new people.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
That's right.
You may meet you a boo.
Okay, the boo is out there. You gotta go out for the
That
boo.
is right. That is right. And if I see a boo walking through the museum, I'm like, okay, he's a little cultured. Okay. So that is so true. Again, everyone, if you're just joining us for the Focus World, we only have a few more minutes with Dr. Rose. She's been talking to us about the importance of self-love. We know in less than a week, Valentine's Day is going to be here. I know folks are excited because, again, so many folks are in love, and they are paired with that person they're supposed to be with. And, if you're the one sitting at home throwing shade on the person who is in love and happy, I don't see how you're expecting it to come to your door.
It's not.
And I really want to say this, Dr. Rose, and I want you to speak on this. I know some folks who get, they know of a friend or a person they're calling a friend or a family member who is in love and happy, and, they're saying just the nastiest things. Oh, they probably won't even last a week. They probably won't even make it to this Valentine's Day. And I'm thinking that is a surefire way to really just block what you're expecting, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a defense mechanism.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's to help to take away the anxiety or the unpleasant feelings they have about not being in what they perceive to be a meaningful or good relationship.
Right.
But what you have to celebrate. Again, this is about celebrating love. So not only celebrating the love in your life, but celebrating the love that other people around you are experiencing. I love to see when friends and family members and people I love are in great health.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
It brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
It opens up the passageway to allow that in your life.
It sure does.
You're going to be sour grapes. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get some sour grapes in your life as well. So embrace that. Enjoy that.
Yep, absolutely. And honestly, celebrate the people in your life that you know are in love and happy.
Yeah, I love to see that.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, because if I'm saying, oh, these are my girls, my friends, my happy cousin, auntie, whoever, if I'm saying that, how am I when I see you happy and coupled up? I'm like, ooh, y'all not good together. You don't look good together. You this and that. All those negative, nasty sentiments, I don't see where folks can honestly believe that that's going to bring something healthy into your space. So again, celebrate love wherever you see it. I'm happy to see Jay-Z and Beyonce on a photo together. And I don't know these people.
When I see people in love, I say, you know what? I'm happy because that lets me know it's still hope.
Exactly.
I still got hope.
Absolutely.
So true. That is so true. I remember years ago, a friend of mine watching she and her husband interact with each other, and I can remember it was so powerful watching that. I said to myself, just consciously, like, I was like, wow, I want to experience that one.
Yeah.
That looks so cool, and it just looks genuine. It looks real.
Right.
And it wasn't any part of me, because at that time I didn't have it.
Right. Right.
But it wasn't a part of me kind of just showing envy or jealousy toward that. It was just really embracing that and saying, wow, it does exist.
Yes.
And one day I want to know what that feels like.
Wow.
And it makes you, it kind of just sends that order out. We talked about that last time, placing that order to the universe. This is what I want. But when you talk about, oh, look at them, they're not happy, or that's all superficial, you're placing the order to have that come back.
Wow. Boom.
It's coming right back on you.
That you project. Yeah.
Absolutely, Dr. Rose. All right. So again, we are talking with Dr. Rose Moten Lang. She is a psychologist, author, speaker, and life transformation coach, getting you prepared for Valentine's Day in case you're quote-unquote flying solo. She is sharing the 5 ways to take that boo-hoo and bah-humbug out of Valentine's Day for you to embrace and celebrate love, period. Whether it's for your significant other, for your family, your children, folks around you, your friends, people that you say you care about, celebrating love, period. All right, let's get to this other point here, Dr. Rose. Let go of the outcome. Many people have a habit of taking themselves on an emotional roller coaster on Valentine's Day by having an unfair and often unrealistic expectation for the day. Wow, Dr. Rose, expound on that.
And we talked about that in the beginning. It's just these unrealistic expectations because, and that usually goes into the whole romance factor of Valentine's Day. But if you really sit down and think about it, what we most want, not just on Valentine's Day, but in relationships in general, it's not the, and we've all known people who have broken up with someone and just can't get over it. And it's like they won't let that person go. And, you know, and it's like, girl, move on, or, you know, there's someone else out there for you. And it's, no, I want. And one of the things I ask patients all the time, I said, if someone came into your life, not that person, but if there was someone that came into your life that you were able to experience love, bliss, joy with, do you think that you will still be hung up on this person? And the reason I ask that question is because oftentimes we attach we attach a person to what it is that we want. But what we really want to do is connect to these emotions. We want relationships. It doesn't matter who it is. If that person is able to bring, if that person is kind of able to bring just those feelings and emotions into your life, you're good with it.
Right.
You'll find yourself just saying, okay, who was that person I was all hung up with a week ago?
Right.
So it's so important for us to sit down, let go of the outcome and the outcome being, I don't have a person or I need to have a person, and connect to the emotion. Tell yourself, what is it that I'm seeking emotional-wise to have in a relationship? I'm seeking love. I'm seeking joy. I'm seeking bliss. I am seeking authenticity. These are emotions that we all can get at any time of the day. I mean, in a moment's notice, we can connect with these emotions, and it doesn't require another person. So the outcome of having a person or this significant other in your life is, yeah, that's a goal eventually, but ultimately what it is that you want to connect with these emotions. So go out there and connect with them. Find and engage in an activity that brings you bliss. Because guess what? You're going to experience that bliss and joy, and you're going to have that same emotional outcome from it as you would have if you were with a partner. And what that does is just open those floodgates up again.
Wow. Wow, that is so powerful.
You're going to get it out there. You're going to get it, so go out there and get it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And it doesn't have to be a person that gives it to you.
And that is so true, Dr. Rose.
That is true.
Because, again, it's putting pressure on a person, especially like we talked about going on the first date on Valentine's Day. This person doesn't even know you. So for you to expect this person this person, he's going to save the Valentine's Day.
He's going to save that. Got me a Valentine's.
Right. It's like, wow.
He don't even know what you like.
Yes, that's a whole lot of pressure.
That's a lot of pressure. I don't think I would ever be able to put that much pressure on someone.
And please don't.
I'm not.
Don't. Wow. All right. So again, Dr. Rose, this show is just not long enough. We appreciate you. Dr. Rose Moten Lang. Learn more about Dr. Rose by logging on to drrosemoten, MOTEN.com. Learn more about her book, Bloom, a 7-step blueprint that promotes self-discovery, personal transformation, and unbridled success. Dr. Rose, we can't wait till we have you on the next time. This has been so enlightening. My goodness. Such great information. What are your last words you want to leave with folks who are hanging on you every word, but you have one more word you want to leave them with?
I do. You know what? It just came to mind because I wasn't expecting you to ask that question. I want people to know what a difference a year makes. So wherever you are right now in your life, you know, you may be single, you may feel like, you know, that other person is far off and nowhere to be found, but I tell you, a year from now, your life can look completely different.
Wow.
Completely different. You know, in 2011, I met someone, and within a year, 2012, we were engaged. And it was just like, it just happened that quickly, and our anniversary is actually Valentine's Day weekend.
Wow. Awesome. Congratulations.
But I tell people, because a year prior to that, you know, right before 2 weeks before I met him, there was no one in my life. But I really devoted that time to working on myself.
Yes.
You know, I work and really getting clear about what it was that I wanted in a partner and representing that within myself.
Yeah.
And so I think if the opportune time came for us, our paths to cross, I was ready, he was ready, and it was just a beautiful whirlwind situation.
Wow. And it was just one of those meant to be couple of forevers situations. Wow.
That is awesome.
I love it. All right, Dr. Rose, we thank you so much, and we look forward to the next time we'll talk. Have a great one.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Well, Ariel, we knew it would be one of those shows with Dr. Rose. What great
Dr.
information. Yes. And again, log on to drrosemoten.com. And Ariel and I are telling y'all in every language we can, self-love on Valentine's Day, okay? Be what you are looking for on Valentine's Day, like Dr. Rose just articulated. A year from now, it could be a total different situation. But love is a universal language. You need to be using that every day.
Every day.
Especially on Valentine's Day. And today, Sunday, we want you to make it a great one. Thanks for listening.